forward to seeing whether DNF can get back on the horse. They are going for 4 in a row on blue side. This one, like, 4th time is the charm, right? Like, it's normally the charm.
Normally it's 3rd time.
3rd time wasn't the charm.
Oh.
But, so now it has to be the 4th time. It's just a bit late.
Yeah. Well, if it's not, what if it's not 4th time?
The 5th time's the charm, baby.
Okay, well, we just keep moving it back. We'll
Yeah.
just keep... Unless we don't have to. Maybe this is the time.
Exactly, 4th time's the charm, I said that!
Okay, we agree. 4th time is the charm.
Uh-huh. And we'll just have to see what... They can't play the same comp again, which, based on what we heard from the space, is a good thing. But I don't know, like... I think I agree with you with the fact that it's not about the draft. Like, we just need to make sure that we keep things together in the late game and close things out.
Yeah. I think DNF has a lot of struggles. And I think, you know, the space had some points about how face checking is difficult with it.
Yep.
But I think that I think this team would struggle regardless. But we'll see. We'll see what they cook up this time. We'll see if they can change their fate.
Indeed.
They have changed up their bans a good amount.
Maybe they can twist their fate. What do you think?
They could opt to do that. We saw Showmake have a great game on that yesterday. They've opted to ban the Wukong, the Varus, which was banned on red side last time, and then the Jace.
Jace ban is kind of intriguing. I wonder what that means. Vi is left up and available, so they'll ban the Ahri instead.
Yeah, Azir left up and available with the Talia gone, though.
Yeah, so this was one of the fatal errors that was made by Gen G in their second game against T1 earlier in the week. And I hated that as well.
They could go like Vi Aurora, though.
Varora.
That's a pretty strong rotation.
Feels good. We'll see whether that is what they were planning for. With the Ahri ban, you have to imagine that they, like, it's not a misclick, right? Like, Ahri and Azir are pretty close together on the list. You could tell that they knew what was going on. So the Vi is going to be opted in for, and now, what are we picking here for Yehu? Or theoretically, for Rich if they want to get him a good matchup or something like that.
Well, that's the thing, is Aurora's good as a flex as well.
Yeah.
So they have that option available. If they opt to go towards it,
and there it is.
And it looks like they will. So, pretty strong combo, very dive-focused, a lot of potential to punish, and that does mean that I think for DM Freecs, you're immediately thinking, okay, I think you have the Azir, and the enemy team are like, okay, we want to try and kill your backline. I think Azir is generally, as far as picks go, pretty good at playing a defensive role. How do you build the rest of your composition around that is the question, and Trundle is definitely a great pick at playing that mitigating defensive role, being able to ult targets who go in and make them squishy, being able to drop that pillar. Looking at potentially the Ambessa, which if it is into the Aurora, is not going to be too fun of a time.
That's a Cho'Gath.
Which is actually interesting. If you pick, like, I mean, Cho'Gath aside, if you pick a tank, you have someone who can face check, you pick the Trundle, so you don't have to worry about that.
And so now Rich is thinking about doing the Ambessa thing himself. I believe he tried this in the last series. And it did, I believe, work in game 1. Unless I'm hugely mistaken.
I mean, it continues with the theme of very dive-focused, but
yeah.
DM Freecs have insane frontline. Compared to last game where they had no frontline,
yeah.
They now have all the frontline. And even will steal away your frontline with the Trundle. So, very much a front-to-back composition already locked in here. Now, I think probably going to look at banning away picks that can help provide the element of safety. Poppy's gone. Could maybe look at the Xayah as well. I feel like Xayah Rakan would be a good bot lane duo for the DM Freecs. DM Freecs going to ban away, yeah, some of these engaging picks. Taking away the Nico. Kai'Sa could be an option that you take away in this situation.
Yep, we're going to look to just dive and destroy is the plan here for DRX. See whether they can actually keep the play up on the front foot. As they probably want a Rakan if it is going to be left available. The Poppy is already banned. That is likely a ban opportunity here for DN Freecs. I feel like Rakan on 4 feels so good.
Also, Alistar's open.
Oh, true.
Yeah, but also Kai'Sa like pairs well with how the comp wants to function. They are just going to go for the Alistar in this situation. Do you take the Rakan? But there are other engaged supports available, so, you know, there's like the Rel is an option. So I don't think you're too tied to it right now, necessarily.
Yeah.
It looks like they are going to prioritize it. Does obviously sync up well with a lot of these engaged picks. And for Berserker, what are you going to be able to play into this that's going to be able to survive? Honestly, it might just be like I mean, Sivir's a good pick, but I was going to think like something like Jinx Tom works. Sivir makes sense. Is Sivir enough by itself? It seems like they're confident she is with the Spell Shield. I will say one concern with Sivir into specifically Vi is that when you're ulting, you can smite to break the Spell Shield on the way.
Yeah.
So you think you're safe, and then suddenly Vi, Rakan, and Kai'Sa all pile onto you.
And now you've got the full kill comp coming on in here, as Vi and Kai'Sa together is really, really good. And if you guys remember back to earlier in the year, very early in the year, Teddy had that absolutely extraordinary game on the Kai'Sa as well. This guy has been known to hard carry with this champion. We'll see whether that is what DRX can make happen again, because I'm looking on the other side, and this is a much easier draft for the DN Freecs. They were watching the space. You know, they called, just keep it simple, stupid, place them front to back. There's a lot of DPS between Sivir and Azir if they're just able to sit there and hit their targets. And they got a big old front line to get behind.
My concern is that DRX have the everything in the kitchen sink comp.
Yeah.
And there's only 2 carries on the side of DNF. And you don't even necessarily have to like immediately kill one of the carries. But if you throw everything at them to the point that they're not dealing damage, like eventually they're going to go down. And if they're not dealing damage, you know, who is? Right? You only have one other carry in the composition. Trundle, I mean, I guess he's chomping people. But I just think DRX have this engage. If you're ever not setting up well for objectives and there's like an Aurora on a flank, it's going to cause so many issues. Like, yes, DN Freecs, if they get set up well, if Sivir and Azir are strong, they have this front to back, they have a great front line who can face check. But there's so much engaged threat on the enemy side. If one of your carries gets exploded, your DPS and your composition just gets cut in half.
It's pretty scary. Let's see how it does go as we jump into the Rift for game number 2. All right, here we are onto the Rift for the second game of this Rise Group series. Hoping that we can bring this one to another so that DNF can avoid the 1 and 19. 19 will mean they're guaranteed not first place in the Rise Group. Although I don't know how likely that was going to be. It is just going to be mathematically impossible after a loss here.
The dream would truly be dead, you know.
It would.
There's still hope right now.
It's no longer a pipe dream, it's a dead dream.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So that would be unfortunate. And DRX, like you say, it's a very aggressive composition. I feel like it's a little bit more risky. You know, when you have a comp like this that does need to continue going aggressive, it can be hard, as Yehu is wandering around the mid lane. Will lose 50% of his health bar before the wave does crash. Now we'll move on over to see whether he can get some of that harass that Aurora is known for.
I mean, it's very true. We've often seen, like, if think about last game. Last game was pretty slow.
Yeah.
If we end up in a situation where the game slows down to a glacial pace, we are just farming up. Sivir's got a ton of wave clear. Azir's easily capable of just holding a wave by himself. And we just stall out the game. DNF are going to be doing fine in this situation. As long as they don't make major flubs in the team fight. And generally, Berserk has been pretty reliable. And to be honest, like as an Azir, you should be the more safe out of the 2 carries. You should be pretty happy with this one going in the later stages.
I would agree. I think that if it is just a handshake moving until later, as Yehu needs to hit like 1 or 2 of these abilities, I think, as Bulldog shows him that if the Azir does, it hurts a whole bunch. His pick buffed on this patch was still relatively decent on the last one. So understandable that the priority of the Azir has been pretty astronomical, especially here in the LCK.
Yeah. I feel like as well,
found a lot of success as well.
In round 1 and 2, we saw Talia often doing really well into the Azir, and we saw it's kind of like, okay, Talia, if Talia's open, you don't feel as comfortable about the Azir. Teams were picking it anyway and kind of losing. But now, especially after we had this little break of internationals, teams were picking Azir into Talia and having a lot of success, and it feels like teams just don't care as much about the Talia response.
Yeah.
And especially in a situation like this where there isn't a Talia response, Bulldog is feeling pretty great. We do get a quick back coming out from Yehu to pick up the Dark Seal.
Yep, he did miss one CS. There's a flash forward on the bottom side of the map as Life gets that crash down shield. Heal comes out from Andal as Teddy taken down to 3,500 in the HP department. They will expend a lot, but they do also have to go back home.
Yeah, I think with
stay alive
pressure in lane, Life obviously gets a Hex Flash available. Not too concerned about banning his flash there, but forcing Teddy back. And it's also really hard as a Rakan to peel in that situation because you're playing into a Civil with Spell Shield. So your Grand Entrance does kind of just get negated if you go for it.
Yeah, didn't quite work out there. Still, back does come on through here for Teddy. Doesn't elect to go for a cull or anything like that. It's going to be a longsword towards this bottom side. As Yehu just looking to try and hit a button or three. Life just seeing whether he's going to overextend. But Bulldog having a great time in this lane. Yehu just looking like he's a little bit frazzled is what it kind of feels like. And Life is going to capitalize on that. As Yehu with some weirding, but does need to get out of the way of the horse pants lady. Shattering Strike comes in, but that's a decent little buffer and he gets himself out of the way.
What a pillar, honestly.
That was a really nice pillar from Pyoshik.
Got some airtime on it, you know. I feel like if you get like the precise placement, it does get that knock up, like the...
And you get the extra satisfaction from the amount of airtime that you get, because like the better it is, the more they get knocked back. Oh yeah. That was a real good one there from Pyoshik. So getting the flash out of Yehu, precisely what they want.
Off a Trundle player, you know. It's the high skill cap ability on the champion. A champion who just mostly spends his time running around chomping people.
Yeah, and making weird colored circles on the ground.
And then the pillar is the cultured ability where you really show your stuff.
Well, Pyoshik's always been a bit of a Trundle player. Even when he was back on his other teams in the past. One of them being, in fact, this one right here in DRX. So some crossover for a lot of our players. But yeah, just trying to get his wave sorted out. They will go back home. Just feels like DNF have a bit more control in this early stage of the game.
Yeah, I mean, both bottom mid going pretty well. And if you get Berserker and Bulldog ahead, that is exactly the win con for this composition. Get them some early momentum. Especially when you get to the point where if they get enough of a lead that they can itemize a little bit defensively, if Bulldog is in a position where he's fed enough that he can afford, you know, a Seekers or a Zhonya's going into bigger fights, if Berserker can potentially get towards, you know, major spikes and then also have like a GA, that's when you're feeling like the game is just automatically won. So even though it's just obviously a small lead now, positive omen for DNF.
Yep. I think I'm going to be waiting for Sponge to get that first ult off, you know, see whether this Vi can really make stuff happen here in this game. That is sort of the coveted pick here for DRX's side. Vi is banned a whole heck of a lot. As Rich with a little hammer moves down towards the bottom side and is going to be facing off against Berserker at this point. As Yehu continues to miss buttons. Emperor's Divide does come down. Remember, he has no flash, but does have an ulti. Gets to the other side of the circle here. Sponge, we're going to push them back. Vaultbreaker actually doing a decent job buying some space. And Yehu, he wants to eat honey fruit, but I don't know whether he's really allowed to. Andal and Sponge are going to come on over, and Rich moving up the river does give Yehu that opportunity to have a little bit of afternoon tea.
Just one of the frustrations with Aurora is that even when she's flashless and you find this shuffle opportunity, she's still able to get out. 3-man gang.
She has a lot of buttons that do good things for escaping, doesn't she?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, essentially three mobility tools, right?
Yeah.
You have the invisibility on the W with the little dash.
The little pop back.
Yeah, and then obviously the ult is just very powerful. The distance you create with that, so... A lot of options, but to be fair, when you're leaning into Azir can't really complain about safety.
Yeah. He just shifts the sands.
Yeah.
Or sweeps everyone away. So that's going to work out as well. Pyoshik going to be eating a blue buff. As top side of the map, it is Dudu just trying his very best to get as much experience and gold as he can in this 1v2 scenario.
There was impact though, because they went for that play, it did drag Sponge away from the dragon he'd started up.
Yep. Also dragged Rich away from the bottom lane as well, which I think gave Berserker a little bit more of an opportunity to get some crashes in, some farm up. And all time that is bought is good news for DNF. As we mentioned before, this comp is pretty scaly.
Yeah. I will say, just sometimes you get these games where like one comp you have a lot of confidence in the late game, but when the teams have very different win cons and team fights, like different goals.
And it's also not at the part that's good for DRX yet. I don't think DNF are even into the woods yet, you know, let alone out of them.
The mid game, like the Triumph Spike for the Kai'Sa is really big, but like even in the late game, if Bulldog or Berserker make a fumble and get caught out by this engage comp, even the later stages, you can still go right. Do you see
plate gank?
Yep, and Trundle graded these.
Well, Rich is going to look for a little bit of a public execution angle, as Yahoo does find a control ward. 2 of those plates do go down as Dudu and Sponge doing some battle here. That will be the smite utilized. So 3 grubs go over to DRX in exchange for these 2 plates they picked up for mainly Berserker.
Sponge
now looking for a dragon.
Was waiting for smite cooldown there. Didn't want to flip it.
Yeah, it was pretty cute actually.
DNF will just take this dragon as well as those plates, so I think pretty positive trade for them overall. And we saw last game, giving over dragons caused some issues.
It did.
So early priority onto them. It's a good adaptation. Good to see. Don't just give 4 dragons over the enemy team. It can backfire.
Maybe that was the main thing that they learned, as Teddy actually has to use the killer instinct here against Dudu. 1v1, not necessarily looking fantastic here for the Kai'Sa.
It's all for ult, so I don't think he's too pressed.
I guess that's right. I didn't notice the ult to come through there from Dudu. That should be alright. This time, yeah, we're going to be up
like the amount
or 2.
The amount of times we've seen Sion just flourishing in these lane swap situations where he ends up 1v1 against AD carry and has solo kill potential for some reason.
Yeah. Just some Sion stuff.
Just vibing. I feel like he has such a unique position as a tank because he just has so much more early power, so many other tanks.
His buttons just do so many things as well.
Yeah.
The fact that Roar the Slayer has armor pen is actually kind of silly. That's the thing that kind of bothers me. That's right, Yahoo looking for a little bit of an angle, but they do not get it. Andel's been pretty quiet this game. I felt like he was pivotal in the previous one on the Nautilus. This time around, a lot of facilitation, not too much of any sort of engages just yet. Sunfire Cape is now done. First item in for Dudu. Don't quite have Eclipse yet for Rich. Such a big, big item for the Ambessa. Don't have it just yet.
I feel like that spike's such a massive one for that champion.
Oh yeah.
Just abuse shields. That's the way.
I know, Kit already did it. You may as well get an item that does the same thing. Let's go. But things are just really slow. It is well and truly slowed down, and I think that has benefited DNF, especially Dudu. Look at this lead, man. It's kind of crazy.
He's vibing.
He's up 2 waves against Rich.
And you know what?
Oh.
It's a good time to remind that DNF are the slowest team.
Yes.
They just regularly have the lowest kill games in the league.
Berserker is just going to spell shield. Sometimes you got to test the button, and the button was there. Andal discovered it. And Pioshik ready to sunder some Sky. So going for the Sundered Sky build instead of the Trinity Force into Deadman's Plate that we've been seeing a whole lot for the Trundles. A little bit of a different option here for Pioshik.
I think we saw this the other day, the Sundered Sky going first. Maybe they've moved this. I agree with it personally because I think Sundered Sky is broken.
It is a pretty silly item. I do like the idea of Trundle just being able to run under an outer turret and just murder an AD carry if he just has Trinity Force.
Yeah, but I just think just the random healing you get in fights.
It is very silly, you're right. And he also just loves healing anyway, so you're going to be building Spirit Visage, so you're only going to make that healing better.
Yeah, and you just get so much damage. There's always just... I feel like the meta is so often just defined by just unreasonable bruiser items, you know?
Yep.
We've had them so many times. There was Gore Drinker.
I think Atmogs was the first one. That was a good time. As he got a little bit of a scuffle towards the bottom side. Grand Entrance going to connect onto Life. But Pioshik, Sponge, Andal, and Life are just all relatively tanky, so not really too much of anything here. Sponge just waiting to see whether he can get a smite off, and he's not going to be able to do so. So Pioshik going to be able to clear that one away.
The first major objective of the game.
There it is!
The blue buff.
Next objective going to be in 1.5 minutes, and that's going to be an Ocean Drake.
So if they have to fight over that one, or if it's only more trading, although the Herald is in 2.5 minutes, so probably not.
Yeah, well, it's another Bro and Brew scenario.
But Bro aren't here.
They're not, but their essence is always here. in the Bro and Brew. And DRX was certainly part of that, as we saw only the other day. They defined it a while back. As Teddy has his Kraken Slayer now, newly buffed on this patch. Kind of cute. I've been seeing a bunch of different first item choices for the Kai'Sa. Don't believe this has been the most recent, but it works.
I mean, we did have that period where everyone was going with the crit Kai'Sa, and that's kind of died out a bit now. We still see it occasionally, but it's a lot more for the on-hit Kai'Sa.
Yep.
And I think the Kraken buff definitely helped.
I like Kraken Rageblade. Just feels better, you know?
Yeah.
On hit always just has that dopamine of getting the things stacked up and you attack real fast and it's all good.
Yeah, it also just feels nice getting like the triple upgrades.
Yeah.
If you want to go that route. But also here into this comp, you definitely this sort of build does help you punch through the tanks. I also feel like, you know, especially a pick like Sion, like yes, he does get a lot of health in the late stage of the game, but I feel like mid game is where he's just so hard to deal with. When he just has an unreal amount of health. His economy is more in line with yours. Whereas like in pro games, 80 carries and be full build when you have like 3 items. I think mid game is really where like Dudu is just unrealistically tanky. But Teddy on 2 items will actually do good damage to him with passive and everything.
See whether he can actually get there. Only at 1-4 now as Sponge will get pillared. Does have the Vault Breaker to get over it.
Oh, we have
put in the kennel just yet.
Dudu's walking over and Richard's resetting the TP, so
Live does find the Magnet Storm on to 3. The quickness comes down though and it's working very well. This Aurora damage is massive, but Pyoshik staying alive for so long. Finally he will go down. That's first blood, but it's answered with 2 immediately as the Kai'Sa is down. Public execution though for the re-engage as Yehu off to the side. Looks for another salvo as Berserker is just chasing after Sponge. Doesn't quite get the kill as out goes Yehu, out goes Rich. And out goes DRX, but it's a 1-for-2 and DNF win the fight.
Bulldog didn't even end up ulting there, and they still managed to handily win that fight. DRX kind of gets slapped about due to such a huge presence in the fight. Yeah, looking for what?
Death. That's what it was.
Well, he found it.
Well, there's the Vault Breakers. Finally, that ultimate is going to be used, and the wall is going to block anyone from following up on to Bulldog. Did have to invest the flash and the wall. And this siege on the outer turret is not really going to work out. Now DNF have to go back, and maybe they lose a dragon out of it. It's kind of weird if they lose a dragon. They do get feats of warfare. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that was a quizzical play from Yehu on the back end. So both top laners will set up this fight. Starts pretty explosively with Life going in here. And then Teddy just ends up getting absolutely decimated, dives in, and it's really Dudu, the champion here, gets that double slam. And look at this Sion, how big the health bar is. He's just charging around the fight, and no one can deal with him. And then here...
he is a menace.
No idea what
I don't know.
I was like, I'll watch it back, and then I'll know. I'll know what he was going for. And I watched it back, and I don't know what he was going for. So
I was watching the picture-in-picture. And I watched Sponge take a Rift Herald.
Oh, that was
great.
You probably learned more from that than I did from watching.
I learned that he picked up a Rift Herald.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so that is something.
Okay.
It's a net positive trade. Is DNF going to look for their second Drake? This Ocean will go over to Pyoshik here. And not going to be too much of a response. Infernal Soul this game.
And look, this point of the game, 2 dragons to DNF, a gold lead in pocket. They're feeling really good at this point.
I'd be worried if I was a DNF fan, though. Because we've seen leads like this before, as there's the knock-up on.
I feel like they're in a perpetual state of worry.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, yeah, who's going to be walking over a ward? They know exactly what's going on as Andal running on out. Will be able to escape, but had to invest the quickness in it. Back going to be secured here for Yehu. Not going to get pushed away, so he'll be okay. Does have Leandri's now completed. The color scheme of Kraken Slayer and Sundered Sky being exactly the same is kind of weird, isn't it? Never really thought about it, because you never see them on the same champion.
Yeah, it feels like Sundered's a little bit... No, they're pretty much the same. Maybe a little bit darker.
Maybe it's from the same item set.
Yeah, maybe they're related.
Am I having deja vu? We had this conversation before.
I haven't. You might have.
Maybe. I've had
what other items do you think are related in terms of color scheme? Oh, wait, Berserker Greaves and Locket?
There is, it's Nash's Tooth and the other one. What's the other one? Is it Shadow Flame that's very similar colors? There is a combo. No, it's Riftmaker. Riftmaker and Nash's Tooth, similar scheme, similar vibe.
I am looking at all the items and inventories right now.
That's the only other example that I've got.
I think Berserkers and Locket are pretty similar yellow.
True.
Maybe Locket's a bit brighter, actually. It is sunlight.
Unital's and Infinity Edge is kind of... I guess Infinity Edge is a bit more golden rather than the yellow.
Yeah. You know, I feel like this is the problem, is I feel like Yuntal and Locket would be similar, but Locket, most of the light is being blocked by the actual Locket icon.
Well, Locket, like, and, yeah. Locket would be... It looks like a shield, right? I'm trying to, like, it's not on the screen right now.
But what I mean is, if you look at the color, like, in the background...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it isn't. As we've got a bit of an engage here, Dudu going to be able to get himself out, but does have to use the flash and the ulti.
But it's got that,
a lot invested.
That yellow in the background looks like a similar yellow to the one on Yuntal.
Yeah, I like the idea of Locket and Infinity Edge being a set, because then it's like sword and shield.
Yeah.
Which is a great weapon in Monster Hunter.
Or would it be they're in the same set, like the same person has it, or same, like, you know, maybe...
You get a set bonus for using it.
Yeah.
It's like you're a support that built Infinity Edge, so the set bonus better be good.
Do they have that in
Oh, Bulldog taking a bit of damage here. As you can see, Andal and Sponge making their way over. Oh, Emperor's Divide comes in. There's a Killer Instinct. They do manage to take down the Azir, and they keep everyone alive? That is insanity.
Oh, the Pillar!
How did no one die? Okay, so the Pillar is going to deny Shelly. Shelly things into Trundle. It just feels bad.
So, I mean, for one kill, not huge reward, but because of the TP, the turret comes in. I think DRX pretty happy with how that one panned out. Able to punish the Azir. Finally getting some value, getting something going. This composition that we really wanted to see spike in the mid game. Looking to hopefully make some progress here. Yahoo finds a bit of an engage on a Bulldog, and then, I mean, this is the power of that Rakan Vi combination.
Yeah. And just able to battle dance his way out. He went so low, I was really sure that Andal was going to die. But he didn't. And it was okay.
Yep, and now we have Arakan is up. We're on the opposite side of the map to the dragon spawning in a minute, so...
Oh, another set item, by the way. Quick Blades and Unending Despair. Looking very similar. Don't know why you'd ever build those together either.
Yeah, maybe a little bit darker purple from the Quick Blades, I feel. Anyway, Arakan's been started, so...
Rich has also started a fight, as Life is taking a lot of damage. Doesn't want to ult just an Ambessa. Wants to keep his buttons available.
Don't need to do this. They're getting shredded. The resistances.
Well, Life's going to get tagged here by Teddy with that Void Seeker, and DRX can just wait. There's the Magnetstorm. Doesn't exactly get a lot of joy as they're taking down Rich. That will occur as Teddy has to ult defensively. DRX, this is not quite working out. Still, they create some distance. The Arakan is going to go the way of DNF, and now they're looking to turn the fight. Yahoo in trouble. In goes Sponge. Cease and desist is going to connect onto Koshik for some reason, and DNF will just obliterate DRX. That was a whole lot of what you don't want to be doing, DRX.
I was so nervous for them. I saw that going wrong in so many ways, but DNF holds strong. They managed to get the Arakan. They go 5-0, and it's a pretty clean team fight. You know, Bulldog was happy to be the bait in this situation. They end up diving forward onto him, but he has the stasis, that saves him. You know, Sponge was ready to ult for the follow-up. He gets the shuffle away, and then this ensuing situation, very questionable. Yahoo ends up, he's posturing super aggressively, so he gets caught out. And then Sponge ults the Trundle.
And I feel like he could have got the same amount of CC on the Trundle if he ulted the Azir.
Yes, the Azir who used his Seeker's Arm Guard earlier.
Yeah.
Certainly a decision.
And it is going to then spill over into this Dragon as well. So it'll be Soul Point, Arakan, Feats of Strength, everything. They've also got 3 turrets on this map. Inner was taken on that top side as well while we were checking out the replay. This is all over but the crying.
Dare I say it.
Unlosable.
Even DNF couldn't throw from this position.
Oh, that is a pitching challenge if ever I've seen one. And let's see. I mean, it will be absolutely amazing if they do manage to throw this.
It would be impressive.
It would.
Hey, honestly, I'm wondering how you would actually achieve that.
Well, what you do is you convince the opponent to destroy your Nexus.
Oh, yeah, sure. I don't think DRX would need much convincing. They just need the opening.
The other way to throw is to just surrender. That would work.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether they're going to do that. It's been a very long time since we've seen one of those.
Yeah. Well, okay. Berserker was thinking of walking up mid and then thinks against it. I think a good call.
Not a bad choice. Spun's coming on over, collecting some vision control as Dudu is on a merry jaunt here in the river. Teddy does cut him down, but Berserker is going to be there. There's the supercharger forward. There's the charm actually connecting. They will be able to take down the Scion as the rest of DNF shows up. And Zombie Scion not going to be doing much of anything at all. So it is Dudu just kind of dying for no reason. I don't know whether that really affects the state of the game all that much, as he will be back up for the Baron. That's going to be the next thing spawning. Yeah. The Dragon is a long way away. I'm
kind of impressed they killed him that quickly, to be honest. I mean, I know they had a lot of members. They have a lot of armor shred with the people who are hitting him. But even so, you know, Teddy 2 items, not messing around when it comes to cutting down the Scion. But as you said, not the most meaningful of kills in terms of what it translates to, but an influx of gold they will absolutely take.
Let's see whether DRX can actually make anything out of it, as of course the gold lead is still 3.5k. The main thing is all of these objectives and map control and all this stuff that they have been able to accrue. Yeah, Dudu was just having a stroll up the river feeling immortal and just wasn't quite as immortal as he otherwise thought.
You can understand it though, honestly. I feel like in this game, you kind of would have felt like, yeah, there's no way they can kill me.
Yeah.
And then they did, suddenly. Do you have Teddy actually, that big influx of gold has put him pretty close to 3 items. Not too far away, so if you can get to there, that's a big spike. And maybe that's how DRX can come back into it.
Might be the way. Nash's is so incredibly close. Let's see when he can actually put that together. As Berserker will be able to clear out this wave. Baron up and available. Both of these teams cut it down very, very quickly. Of course, Azir and Sivir make short work of neutral objectives. DRX no slouches either, right? They've got the Kaiser. Really does a good job. Is okay. Dudu finding Sponge yet again, looking for some revenge. And Baron vision is pretty important and will be successfully achieved here by DNF. But there is the first 3 items done for Teddy. Feels good, transforming all over the place right now as this Kaiser.
Honestly, super big spike for the Kaiser. Teddy definitely in a position to carry. It really comes down to what engage DRX can find. Their comp is so conditional of getting onto the right target, and I feel like DNF are doing a pretty good job of kind of bodyguarding Berserker wherever he's going.
Oh, Andal needs to try and get himself out. Nice double knock-up, does have Battle Dance access. Control ward goes in, but this ward hasn't actually been swept out yet, so a lot of free information going over to DNF. As they are wandering through. Andal going to spot out life. There's a nice knock-up as Rich looking for an angle. Yoshik coming on over. Bulldog also, oh man, you could see it. He was searching for that sweep angle. That was not quite getting there. I like it. I feel like Andal's coming alive here for DRX later on in this game. Looking for opportunities at least. Was very quiet in the early stages after having a great Nautilus performance. I think they're going to need him if they want to try and come back in this one. DNF have turned everything back around though.
I think DNF...
Wait.
DNF's satisfied with having control over the...
Hang on.
Oh, they're just starting it.
Yeah, isn't this just gone? Teddy does so much damage to Baron. Like, look at this.
Yoshik's pretty close.
He is pretty close. So it is going to have to be... Try and get him out of here, or go for a bit of a 50-50. They get the ult out of Dudu. That is something.
Okay,
and
neither team
put back.
has any control over the Dragon area right now, and it's 30 seconds until Soul. So
yeah.
DNF going to rush down there.
Yahoo is just going to wander into the mid lane. Doesn't die.
Like that... You can understand the thought process because you think DNF are resetting, they're going to move down towards Dragon. We can maybe just rush the Baron. But you've given over any prospect of getting...
They're going to give Soul.
Guys,
they're going to give Soul.
Guys,
going to give Soul.
I do not agree with this.
I guess they think it's too risky to take it. I don't know. Well, I mean, it's going to be Infernal Soul for free. Let's see whether it works out.
Guys, you're in a hit against a Sivir.
Yeah. With Infernal Soul. That has now completed Teleport comes in. And now you got a Trundle running on up. That means that there's not going to be a smite here. And it is going to be secured by Sponge, who sacrifices his life for it. And the question of was it worth it is not even necessary, because the answer is just no.
Yeah. Yeah, not sure. I don't know. I think the play, perhaps a bit of a mistake. I think there was an opportunity for Andal to get some vision down towards Dragon. I think they could have taken a good fight there, but now they've given away Soul, and the Baron's irrelevant because DNF are just pushing into your base.
Yeah. Well, Yehu's going to be able to get a bit of damage here as he goes between worlds, but he wants out of this world, I think. He wants the next iteration of Summoner's Rift in Game 3. I think that might be the better opportunity here for DRX to find a win. Some decent damage is coming on through here. Teddy actually, these Void Seekers starting to hurt. So he wants an arm guard as soon as possible, I could imagine. Yehu wanting a second item as well. Does have that cheeky little Oblivion Orb. Not going to be massive damage. As, you know, Bloodletters as well as a couple of masks coming on in. He's going to feel fantastic.
IE picked up there for Berserker. He is...
That's a big boy.
He's a problem. I feel like just everything's stacked in their favor. They got the Feats of Strength, they got the Arakan, they got the Infernal Soul.
Unlosable, baby. I'm ready to say it.
You're locked in.
Not even a caster curse will be able to take DNF down from here.
You know what? Chronicler would use this as an excuse to say curses aren't real.
Chronicler, I think, is the most hyper-aware that curses are real. And just hates responsibility.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
He hates to think of how many game outcomes he's ruined with his statements.
Exactly.
Oh, Teddy?
Teddy doing the overextension thing. See how that works out for him as he does ult over that wall. Little cute ult. That was enough to get him out, though. So that's going to work. Still Killer Instinct now on cooldown. Means the DRX miss out on that tool for the next fight. Baron up for another minute here for DRX that won't be able to use it whatsoever. As Andal having to deal with this panel thrown out in front of him.
Kyoshik ran over there to like chomp on him and just realized he did no damage. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You can go.
Didn't quite work out. But still, he is getting bigger and bigger.
This is... Sponge is...
Oh.
The long flank.
This is an incredible flank. Yehu not going to make it into that brush without giving away his position. There's a deep TP. Okay. The ward goes down. DNF looking for the angle. Yehu going to start the fight maybe a little bit early into the backline. Goes Sponge. He manages to find Berserker, but he flashes out. The public execution is just public embarrassment for Rich, who dashes away and dies. And yes, they get the prize. But Yehu and Teddy are the only ones left alive, and DNF will continue pushing.
Guys, if you're going to go for the long flank, you have to wait for everyone to be in position. They went so early.
It was less of a Yehu and more of a yeehaw into that backline. It didn't quite work.
Like, Rich wasn't there in time to ult off the CC. Yehu ult. Okay, well...
I like the vibe. I like the idea. The plan was great.
Problem. I love the plan. The long flank, but it looked so cool in the setup, and then they just flubbed everything.
Do you know what? It's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
That's what my mum always said. You know, if I bought her a terrible birthday present, you know, it's like another weird plant, you know, that I got down at the nursery.
Weird plans. But yeah, so, you know, they woke up. Yehu's like, I will start the fight. So immediately Jig is up, but like Sponge is flashing in. Rich is so far away, and then the ult misses, so he has to awkwardly walk in. It's like one by one. You know, I feel like the composition of DRX is all about cohesive engages.
Yes.
Everyone goes in together.
Yes.
That was not that.
No.
That was everyone goes in separately. And you know what DNF did? They just huddled. They just huddled together and held strong. And it worked pretty well. It also helps that they have a 5,000 gold lead in every buff imaginable so far in the game.
Yeah, they've taken actually all of the things.
Yeah, but also huddling together did go a long way.
It did. So, that was also good.
Yeah. Now DRX, you know, the long flank failed. What is next in the playbook?
Longer flank. I think it's longer flank is the only real option here.
Start for the enemy fountain. Just really wrap around.
Or maybe short flank. Or maybe kill Sion again.
Kill whoever's closest.
Yeah, that could be the opportunity here as the ult is going to be invested there from Sponge. Dudu flashes away. And that is going to be the end of that. And also potentially the end of this turret. Although the sieging capabilities aren't exactly massive. Baron up in 1 minute to help alleviate that. But Dudu is just split pushing here in this mid lane. And DNF will be able to break this one open. Inhibitor already down on bottom side of the map. These super creeps are piling up on the bottom side. As we get the bit of a zoom out here, 40 seconds on the Elder. I mean, I don't know whether it's necessarily one team fight and you can win the game, but it might be like 3 team fights and you win the game. Still, this inhibitor turret gonna go down and DNF playing it by the book, rotating around, getting everything shoved in, making this base as susceptible as possible and making it so difficult for DRX to ever leave.
Yeah, DRX are taking the supervise strategy, which is where you watch the enemy team take your base.
Oh, I thought it meant super Vi, like you'd be like, it'd be like
No,
Vi, but she's a superhero.
Not. Oh, Sponge going, this is another long flank.
Super flank?
Yep.
Did have some vision down here.
Sneaky, sneaky.
As we can, that's Twitch, that's not Vi.
Oh, sorry, I thought, I got them mixed up because of how Sponge is playing.
Yeah, he is playing very twitchy.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that
Wait,
he's
look at all the question mark pings. They're aware.
Yeah, they're pinging all over the place, but they haven't got him yet.
Wait, you took Krugs, so now they're super aware. They're like, wait, guys, who took Krugs on our team? No one. Oh.
Well, Life
wait, the
now
TP.
knows.
Oh, they're doing it. They're doing it.
Oh, wait. Wait, is Bulldog going to be the target? Maybe. Okay, Dudu is certainly the target. Now Yahoo getting into this backline. I'm not sure about that one, but he was the only one that had the teleport available, and now he's just going to go between worlds after doing half a damage to Life. And now they just dive on top of the Elder? All right, DRX, this is the insane plan that is going to get you back into this game, maybe. DNF with a great phalanx that has been put up, and they've got to teleport in from the Scion. Empress Divide only on to Handle, though, so that's not exactly the target, but still, they are butchering them. Look at the damage from Berserker. Every auto does about 1 billion, as it's a triple kill immediately. That is going to be a free Elder, and guys, I mean, the minions were taking care of business the whole time. That is going to be game over here as DNF even out the series and get their first victory of this round robin, at least as far as games are concerned.
Unlosable!
I told you, man. I had no worries at all saying that, because caster curses are not real or something.
Yeah, I mean, they just, they picked a comp front to back,